Here are two Democratic presidential candidates voting opposite ways on the budget bill today.
Mr. Booker. Mr. Lankford, aye. Ms. Klobuchar, aye.
They were the last two presidential candidates to vote today. The others, Senator Kamala Harris, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, had already voted no on the bill. Amy Klobuchar is the only announced candidate who voted yes. Senator Sherrod Brown, who is considering a possible presidential campaign, also voted yes for the bill. At first glance, this looks like a simple liberal versus less liberal divide, with the liberal senators voting no and the less liberal senators voting for the compromise budget bill. But then came this vote. That was Senator Bernie Sanders in the middle of the screen there, voting for the bill. He did not vote with the most liberal Democratic senators who were running for president. Might that mean that Bernie Sanders is not going to run for president? We asked each of the candidates why they voted the way they did. We got a reply from Senator Harris's office. Senator Kamala Harris's staff told us that she could not support increased funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which she sees as dysfunctional and in need of better leadership and stronger oversight. Senator Harris was especially concerned about increasing the size of detention facilities that are holding families, children, and others who have committed no crimes. You can imagine on a debate stage that Senator Klobuchar and possibly Senator Sherrod Brown would say that they share Senator Harris's concerns, but decided in the end to support the compromise because it was the best agreement that could be obtained by continue to fund the government. But that doesn't sound like a Bernie Sanders answer, does it? I mean, as a presidential candidate, Bernie Sanders' pitch was not exactly, I will fight for the best compromise we can possibly reach with Republicans in Congress. Senator Sanders' office gave us this statement. While I have concerns about aspects of this bill, I will vote for it because I cannot turn my back on the 2 million federal employees and private contract workers who would be forced again to work without pay. For these federal employees and their families, going without pay again would be an act of extreme cruelty, which I cannot support. I am also concerned about the millions of people who would be denied access to government services. That still sounds like a solid answer for Bernie Sanders if he is on the presidential debate stage. Senator Harris, Senator Warren, Senator Gillibrand all cast a no vote that is consistent with their political brand. Cory Booker, whose brand is a bit mixed between liberal and compromiser who can work with both sides, cast a vote to shore up the liberal side of his brand. Amy Klobuchar, whose brand is, I know how to work with both sides and get something done, cast the vote today that shows her ability to compromise to get something done. All of the Senate Democrats who voted against the bill are running for president, except one. The junior senator from Massachusetts, Ed Markey, voted no. In this case, he was voting the way his senior senator did, Elizabeth Warren. How would Ed Markey have voted if Elizabeth Warren weren't running for president? Senator Markey, voting in agreement with Senator Warren, made things much smoother for Senator Warren back in Massachusetts, where her Democratic partner in the Senate won't have to explain why he voted the opposite way that Senator Warren voted. Senator Markey's staff told us tonight that he voted against the bill because U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been overspending its budget and expanding its detention capacities by manipulating the program. We didn't hear from Senators Booker, Senator Gillibrand, Senator Klobuchar on why they voted the way they did. With so many senators running for president now, every major Senate vote is going to be an important campaign moment because now, before these senators vote, they're going to have to know how they will defend that vote on the presidential debate stage, which is now only 4 months away. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.